Hey everybody, it's Jimmy here. I won't be on this episode. We recorded this a few days ago. We recorded before both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt passed away. Obviously, Terry Funk was in very bad health for a while, and he will sorely be missed. And Bray Wyatt was also apparently in pretty bad health for a few months, even worse than we thought. A huge loss for the wrestling community. Rod, Chris, and I will have a lot more to talk about next week. But for now, enjoy the Yeah We Know podcast on the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Rod and Chris. The Morgan You Know Podcasting Network presents 90s Rock Bands Battle.
I'm not going to fault you for who your musical choices are.
32 rock bands, 4 divisions, 1 winner.
It was 21-0 for the Red Hot Chili Peppers here.
Oh my God, and it kills me. It kills me.
They're really good.
Find us on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you download your podcasts.
I'm quitting. I'm quitting the family. I'm quitting the podcast. Like, I'm done.
TheMorganYouKnow.com.
Welcome once again to the Yeah We Know podcast, in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris. But you don't hear Jimmy's voice saying that, so that should be your first alert. Jimmy is not going to be with us this week. It will be a tag team contest between me. My name is Rod Morgan, and my guy, the old man down in North Carolina. Chris, what's your old man take this week?
I just want to say I was very, very excited to watch a great non-interference match to a pinfall without any kind of weird disqualifications. And you could tell that this crowd was ready for it too. Of course, I'm talking SmackDown. I'm talking 25th year anniversary. I'm talking Edge versus Sheamus. That crowd was into it. You heard "This is awesome" chants. They put on a great match. It was great in-ring work throughout the whole thing. And it ended in a great way. There were so many near pinfalls. You didn't have to worry about interference from anybody. It was a good, solid, old school style wrestling match that I loved.
It most certainly was a good old school style wrestling match there. We had another pretty decent old school-esque type match on SmackDown that we will get to as well. But I think starting with the Rated R Superstar will be a good idea. Let's go ahead and go there right now. So, what did you think about the way they chose to do the celebration? In years past, we've seen guys come out to the ring and they get a chance to talk. We've seen actually guys backstage shaking hands, doing it face to face. Hey, thank you for everything. This time they, of course, cut one of your favorites, Chris, a video vignette for everybody saying congratulations to Edge. What did you think about the build up towards the match?
In this situation, I was not a fan of the vignettes.
Oh my goodness. Throw me a curveball, why don't you?
I would have liked to have seen them actually interact with a lot of wrestlers, but to be honest, there probably wasn't a lot of talent there that night. I mean, you didn't have the Bloodline, you didn't have a lot of people there. It was kind of a bare bones crew, so I think at that point in time, you do have to do a vignette to get a broader type thank you from a lot of different wrestlers. And I'm sure that probably made you a little hot. So what are you hot about this week, Rod?
Well, what I was hot about this week is some stuff that was revealed to us on Monday Night Raw. I have been going through any medical journals I can find online, researching all different types of back injuries, what they could possibly be, what side effects from them might be, what long-term damage comes around. And basically I've landed on what kind of back injury am I dealing with from my guy Seth Rollins here? Are we talking about a Larry Bird kind of back injury where you throw your back out, tar in your mom's driveway, and a couple of years later you're over and done? Or are we talking about a full-fledged Samson from Half-Baked, doctor say I need a backiotomy type back injury? Which one are we actually dealing with here? Somebody find me the James Andrews of backs and figure out what's going on with my guy Seth Rollins, Chris. We're on DEFCON 1 over here, worried that stuff is going, well, not well for my guy. But I do have that little nugget in the back of my head, Jimmy, if you will, who's not with us right now, reminding me, Rod, this is still for entertainment. So how much am I to believe this Seth back injury, Chris?
I'm not necessarily buying it. Like they could probably sell that, yeah, he's hurt his back, but the dude has been a workhorse since I got back to watching wrestling. All right. He started off with that big feud with Cody. He's worked nonstop. He hasn't had a break. He hasn't disappeared for a month or two at a time. If it was a real back injury, Rod, there would be weeks where we did not see him because of treatment or whatever, what have you. I'm not buying it.
Listen, that makes me feel a little bit better. We will get back to that and a little bit more of Monday Night Raw here in a bit, but let's finish up SmackDown to kind of keep this in chronological order, right? Make Jimmy happy for us, make him think we did a good job in his absence here. So we said on SmackDown it was a celebration of Edge, but we also had two other things that happened that were pretty big deal, Chris. My guy, CHAD GABLE, in a fight with Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Belts don't change hands, but Chris, Gunther takes his first L since joining the main roster, and it's my guy, CHAD GABLE, that gets it. What did you think when that match happened?
Listen, it was a good match. I did my homework, Rod. I listened to Jimmy. I watched some videos of Shorty G so I could get some.
I'm sorry that Jimmy made you do that.
Yeah. Listen, those aren't the highs of Gable's career. I would not say. But again, you got to respect his in-ring work ethic. You know, that dude can sell those chops just about as good as anybody else out there. And there's probably some brute force behind him anyway. But like, he kept the crowd on their toes. He was kicking out at the very, very last millisecond. Gunther was great again in the ring. I am still confused about the whole ending of that match, though, Rod, because Gunther lost, but somehow he still walks away with the belt.
Champion's advantage, right? Have you ever heard Michael Cole or Wade Barrett refer to champion's advantage, meaning that like if the champion get disqualified, right? Like Roman Reigns had one of these during his run, right? He would not release Seth Rollins from the guillotine, and so he was disqualified because the referees told him he had to break the hold and he wouldn't. So Seth Rollins was technically announced as the winner, but the belt didn't change hands. Same situation in a countout, right? That's champion's advantage. You cannot lose the belt on a countout. Because what they don't want is for somebody to bring a guy outside the ring, just beat him down, throw him out into the crowd, and then just hurry up and bounce inside of the ring and beat him by like 1 second and get the belt, right? That's basically what they're trying to avoid. So that's why that happened. But still goes down as an L. The only L on Gunther's resume right now on the main roster. So shout out to Gable. And here's a hot take, Chris. All right, I already did what's making me hot, but now if you allow me, I'm going to do a hot take here, all right? Because you equated Gable to Kurt Angle. And that's not wrong. It's not a bad comparison. Both Olympians, similar in a lot of ways. But what I'll say to you is that Gable is a much better sports entertainer. I think he's better behind the microphone. I think he's better at selling other people's moves. And I think he's a lot better at near pinfalls and things of that nature about how to move a match along, right? Angle was a strong dude, a great amateur wrestler, knew how to do all of those moves. But I don't think he was as good at selling and acting as much as Gable is. So I think he's even better than Kurt Angle, Chris. How about that?
Well, I'm going to have to take your word for it, Rod. To be really honest, I missed a very large chunk of Kurt Angle's career. I really only saw the very beginning, and that was it.
Listen,
and I didn't, and he didn't impress me then. But like I'm seeing Gable kind of at the beginning of his career. He's only been up in the WWE for what, 3-4 years, maybe.
No, Gable's been around for about 10 years.
Has it been that long on the main roster?
Yeah, he just kind of, because like that's the thing. There's a lot of guys on the main roster that aren't on TV quite often. You know what I mean? Like when was the last time you saw Tozawa? You know what I mean? But like he's still technically on the main roster, right? And so Gable was just always in that situation.
We did just see him.
True, but then like how about a Shelton Benjamin or a Cedric Alexander, right? When was the last time you saw either one of those two dudes? But technically they're still on the main roster.
I don't know who they are, so obviously I haven't.
Right, that's what I mean. So Gable had a bunch of years where it was in there like that. But somebody that is new to the main roster and somebody that you definitely know their name is our guy, the megastar, the man who inspired you to change the end of this podcast, LA Knight. Chris, are you liking where our story is continuing with our guy?
Yeah, they're pushing him, and the right people are pushing him for apparently no reason at all. We're going to go to SmackDown again, and they had Paul Heyman was at SmackDown. They went to him. Of course, they wanted to talk Bloodline and Jimmy, And what does Paul Heyman do but the best of Paul Heyman things? He gets mad that they're not asking him about Edge and his 25th anniversary. And then he gets mad that they're not crapping on LA Knight. He just, for no reason, LA Knight has not had any work with the Bloodline or Paul Heyman, no interactions, but Paul Heyman wants to throw heat and shade at my boy. That is nothing but good news.
You're absolutely right. If Paul Heyman wants to have you in his mouth, that is probably a good thing. You know as well that he's involved with creative in a lot of storylines, right? He writes a lot of those Bloodline segments, so that could definitely mean good things for our guy, LA Knight. And the other thing that's good for LA Knight, Chris, is whether we were talking about SmackDown or Raw, we get to talk about LA Knight right now. He's popping back and forth on both shows, so that's got to be good for him, no?
Yeah, like, listen, he was a free agent, right? So he's allowed to do this, I suppose, even though the brands are split.
Jimmy's going crazy right now, by the way, about a brand split.
I know. But it's great. Is there a bigger babyface right now? I mean, maybe Cody or Sammy, but I mean, LA Knight has shrunk that distance a lot because
I think if you put it non-title holder babyface, then I think you're definitely onto something there, Chris, right? Because I think he's even surpassed your guy Drew McIntyre, right? Because I mean, we'll get to Drew a little bit on Raw, but I think Jimmy telling you that he might be going heel is getting even closer. But we'll get there when we get to Raw. So the last thing that I want to mention is you said it yourself there. Paul Heyman, they went to him to talk about the Bloodline, of course, and the only nugget he gave us on the Bloodline story, Chris, is that Jimmy will return to SmackDown next week. So put your turban on, right? Get your crystal ball out, right? Your tarot cards, whatever it is that you do, and tell me what's going to happen on next week's SmackDown if we're being teased that Jimmy will return.
Listen, Jimmy Jam was right last week, and you agreed with him, where this was some of the most ridiculous reasoning behind Jimmy taking out his brother. I don't know how to get past that right now. So I don't know what they can do to make me kind of believe that's the reason why he did it. Unless he turns full heel like Roman and says, no, I want it for myself, I don't see another route they can go that can continue this storyline. I think you end up having to have Jimmy and Jay eventually fight each other, and then whoever fights that then gets to re-challenge Roman if him and Solo are still in cahoots or whatnot. But,
well, let me ask you this question as it relates to the Bloodline and our next premium live event, which is now a little less than 2 weeks away. Okay. Do you find it odd that they are not trying to sell this pay-per-view with a guaranteed Bloodline match? At this point, Chris, we're still speculating on any match that we'd get between these guys at Payback. Are you a little worried about that? Or do you think that we're actually going to go through a premium live event where a Bloodline storyline is not a match on the card?
Listen, it's not just that. There's just not even a Judgment Day match on that card yet. These are the two biggest factions and who get the most storylines right now, and neither one of them have a match even hinted at.
Well, Rhea's got a match, right? She's taking on Raquel. They gave us that one.
Yeah, but do we think that's going to be anything but Rhea retaining the title?
I don't know, right? I mean, that's a good question, and let's take that as an opportunity to transition over to Monday Night Raw, and then we'll talk about some stuff that happened there, and then we'll get out of here because people don't want to hear us rambling on about wrestling too long, right? Like Jimmy's the one that holds this ship down here.
We are too long. We are very, very low amateurs compared to him.
That's right. So let's start here, though, with vignettes again, right, Chris? We got to stick to what we know. You bring up vignettes all the time. You said you didn't think the Edge vignettes were as good as face-to-face interactions. I thought Shinsuke Nakamura as a heel in vignettes speaking Japanese, that worked big time, way better than Shinsuke in the ring actually talking on a microphone. What'd you think?
Yeah, listen, I liked it. I am absolutely shocked that you enjoyed it. If people want to listen to an upcoming Morgan You Know podcast where we go through our draft for comedy movies, the guys got to listen. It's a great episode. I believe you told me no one wants to read while they're watching TV or a movie. But here you are talking about, oh, that's great. He's speaking Japanese and I have to read the subtitles.
Oh, listen, in my defense, I'll put it to you this way. I did say on that episode that everyone should listen to. You're right. And thank you for saying it was a great episode. You did well yourself on there. I was forced to read that, Chris, because I wanted to know what was going on in the storyline, right? I'm not going to voluntarily sign up to be entertained by reading subtitles. So I think my point can still hold, but touche on getting a shot in on me.
Yeah, it was a good vignette, though. It was really well done, and he does play the role of heel rather well. I do hope when they have this match, he really comes strong, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to get he's going to be attempting to get Kinshasas right to the back. You know what I mean? We're going to see a lot of back heel kicks. You know what I mean? We're going to see a lot of strong forearms and clotheslines and things of that nature, right? He's going to be trying some backbreakers probably, So he's really going to be working that angle. I think it's good. Anytime you give me an actual angle I can dive my teeth into that's a storyline and then can be used as a prop for the match, that's cool. But Chris, I guess I'm forced to bring it up here. We all have our stalking horses, right? And for me, it's fake injury storylines. And basically, here we are again, right? If I'm to believe that Seth Rollins really doesn't have a back injury because of what you said, he shows up and wrestles all the time. Here we are now. Just let's do another yet fake injury. I mean, so I guess I sort of have to dislike it, but I do like it for Shinsuke the way you explained.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. There's a lot of fake injuries. It seems to be the crutch that they're using right now to make or create story or drama. I wish Jimmy was here because maybe he would know the answer to this question. Does the WWE have an issue with writers on strike?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. That's a very good question. I'm not sure if those guys are actually... I'd imagine, though, because Raw and SmackDown are televised TV shows, that some of those people would have to be in unions. So, yes, but clearly the show is going on. So that's a very good question. We should make sure to write that down, that we ask Jimmy about that one next week. But playing off of the fake injury storylines, I guess we can go to your girl. Can I still call Trish Stratus your girl? Are we okay with that?
Listen, I still hold her in very high esteem, and this is from when I used to watch way back in the day when she was first bringing this women's division up. And she was much better in the ring then than she is now. She is maybe a tad bit better on the mic than she was a couple months ago, but not by much.
I'd say that's a low bar to clear, but I'll give you that point as well. I'll give you that point as well.
I'm just waiting for...
I was going to say, are you excited for this match? Is there something they could do in this match that you would walk away from and say, all right, cool, I put in all that time and at least I got this?
If Becky Lynch pins Trish Stratus and wins clean, yes, we are done with this feud and we can move on to something else. That's what I'm interested in.
Okay. All right. I like that. I hope that we get that too. I really do. But I have a feeling there's going to still be some schmazzy elements to this just because of what Jimmy has talked a little bit about, right? Like, and you know this and you just hinted at it as well. Trish is clearly not someone who's going to be on the main roster for a long time. Zoe Stark is someone who can be on the main roster for a long time. So we basically have to pull some sort of a switcheroo, right? Where Zoe Stark becomes more involved than Trish does. So that's why I'm still worried about a little possible schmozziness, but I am absolutely with you. Let's move Becky Lynch on to bigger and better things, please. Okay, let's have Becky and Rhea go at it. All right. Becky is such a strong character that even if you would put Rhea and Becky next to one another, it doesn't look like they should fight because Becky is such a little sprite. But I still buy them because Becky is the man. Becky has been champion before. Becky is a big deal. So let's move her on to have Rhea do something that matters.
Yeah,
Your
and
thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, like I'm completely agree with you. I do get confused why the WWE thinks it's better to get Charlotte and Bianca, going against for a title versus the likes of Asuka and Io Sky. I mean, when they should be really challenging Rhea for her belt. Those are the matches that make more sense to me.
But you could also look at it this way, though, right? Another way that's not good, Chris, is because you just said it right there and just saying the four names. You have Bianca and Charlotte helping prop up Io and Asuka a little bit. You know what I mean? So you got four people that are all cooking at a high level, whereas Rhea doing what she does, nobody else can eat. You know what I mean? It's kind of like she's Allen Iverson and everybody else is the rest of the Sixers.
Yeah, I do hope that speaking of Rhea, when she has her payback match with Raquel, I hope that turns to be more of a good, solid match that takes a little bit of time before Rhea eventually pulls it out.
Let's have this be the first of like a trilogy or something, because she's the only person that seems to be able to stand up to Rhea.
Especially on Raw. You know, I mean, maybe if Piper wasn't Green's tag team partner, Piper would be a good match for Rhea. You can make that work, but
the fact that she's back and at least involved in TV storylines might mean that maybe we could work there at some point. So we got to at least take that as a positive. Speaking of positives, Chris, let's move on to possibly the biggest positive that happened on Monday Night Raw, right? Sami Zayn's out there. It's not looking good for our boy Sami Zayn. And then all of a sudden we hear, "Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da." Oh my God, it's the prize fighter. He's back. And guess what? He's not going to say anything. He's going to come to the ring quickly and just start punching people in the head. And I loved every second of it, Chris. How about you?
Yeah. I don't need to hear Kevin Owens talk, right? I know he's just out there to fight. That's all he wants to do. That's why we like his character, right? Because he's no nonsense. He just wants to punch people in the face, and that's great.
Pass out stunners.
It's a professional wrestler that we can love. I mean, it really reminds me, I'm sure he has gotten this in the past, but a Stone Cold type guy.
Absolutely.
You know, shut up, let's fight, and I'll kick your fucking ass. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. Listen, there's an E on this podcast. Every once in a while, you got to get him out. And basically, KO's return is a time where it's okay to let one slip. All right. Not a problem with that at all. But I guess we got to talk about the negative here, Chris. And we cannot have Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes fight anybody other than the Judgment Day right now. My goodness. How many machinations are we going to have to see? I guess this time we were supposed to be on edge because we didn't know who was going to team up.
Yeah. I mean, but they're in a spot where they don't really know where to go with them yet. And the only thing that is going on Raw is Judgment Day, right? And they are the main storyline along with Rollins. And Rollins has his own gig going right now with Shinsuke. So you can't get Cody involved with that yet. Sammy and KO are going to have to lose these tag titles at some point. I'm hoping that ends up to being to the Street Profits with their new manager, Bobby Lashley. But so they're like in limbo right now. So what do you? You know the fans want to see them, so they got to wrestle somebody. This way you get all of the Judgment Day with their drama that's going on now, and the three of the biggest baby faces in the WWE right now.
Well, you know, Chris, you're absolutely right. And I guess what we're all supposed to do is get excited because the New Day is fighting the Viking Raiders again. So we should all be excited about the fact that that's happening, right, Chris?
You know, speaking of tag teams, and I do think the Viking Raiders could move on to something good. They do have some talent. But let's just bring up what they're trying to do with Drew and Riddle, right?
How do you feel about it?
If they were going to go all in and call themselves the Scottish Highlanders,
Hey-o.
I would be much more involved to it. I just want them to figure out what they're going to do with Drew and move him in that direction, whether he turns heel and goes bad. Great. The dude's awesome still. He's great in the ring. Let's see him be a heel, because I've only seen him as a babyface.
So are you going to, I mean, because I'm usually the heel fan around here. You and Jimmy are more, you guys don't like as many of the heels out there. I'm usually the one that leans more pro heel on this podcast. Are you still going to be able to be a Drew guy if he's out there being a shit heel?
Yeah, I think so. I loved DX back in the day. They were heels for a long time.
But they were heel faces, though, right? Like we've talked about before, right? I think Drew's going to legit be heel, right? They're wanting him to actually like be booed, not like cool heel the way that Roman still almost sort of is.
I mean, as long as he doesn't turn as douchey as Theory, I'll be all right.
Theory taking strays always from you on this podcast. I absolutely love it. All right, we have managed to do 22 minutes, Chris. When we were talking before we hit record on this, we didn't think we'd be able to do that, but I think we did 22 good, solid minutes for the people. Chris and I already mentioned the 2000 comedy movie draft for you that will be coming up in the feed. But Chris, what else is in this feed that people can listen to on the Morganino Podcasting Network?
I mean, if you like to gamble, and we know a lot of people do, you need to start listening to Balls and Brew and our boy Josh Williams, the handicapper, formerly known as the Anonymous Gambler. The dude knows his stuff. He was going to go deeper than anybody else that you can listen to on the podcast, because he will have ref stats that you didn't even know were kept track of. So listen to Balls and Brew and listen to Josh Williams.
Absolutely. We are getting closer and closer to the season. We try to keep them around 30, 35 minutes, just like this show tries to be around then. We try to be short, little bursts for you weekly. Follow along in Apple or Spotify or Google or however you're listening to this podcast. We appreciate it. Maybe give us a 5-star rating. That helps out. Definitely leave us a comment. We appreciate it. And just tell one friend to listen to the podcast. That's all we ask. Until next time, Chris has the final word for you.
Goodbye, net. Yeah.